Welcome to Body by Design. I'm your host, Blue Driver, a women's strength training and metabolism coach. I went from years suffering hormone imbalances, looking soft and bloated, to symptom-free and building muscle for a toned athletic physique. Since then, I've made it my mission to empower women to take control of their own health, hormones and body composition. So grab a cup of coffee and let's build your body by design. Welcome back to the Body by Design podcast, and I am fresh off of an Instagram story and I'm all fired up. So this is definitely an ad hoc podcast that I have just gone, that's it, I need to speak about this. So here I am. So take me for what I am today. There's nothing scripted, there's nothing researched. This is just me and you talking. So the whole Instagram story that I was just referring to is talking about the amount of women in my DMs at the moment that are actually, I love the way that we have shifted in society from women saying, I want to lose weight. And that always used to be the only thing that they were focusing on. And now when I ask women, I go, well, what are your goals? They go, I want to build muscle and lose body fat. And I'm like, yes, they get it. So weight loss, which is determined just by the scale, will mean that you can be losing muscle, you can be losing ligament strength, all those sorts of things that actually keep us healthy. So restricting down too far and just worrying about the scale means that they're not thinking about just losing body fat. They're actually just, all focused on the weight. And we know that that's not good for us. So now I've got this wave of 40 plus women coming into my DMs going, yes, I want to build muscle and lose body fat. And I'm like, yes. I love hearing that, except the first thing they do is go, cut calories. Like, we're still not getting the message. You're still not getting it. If the first thing you reach for is lower calories when you're saying, I want to build muscle and lose body fat, then you still don't get it. So, I don't say this to be rude or to be a bitch or anything like that, but this is the reality that we're in. And with skinny culture making a way through, or hang on a minute, let's have a little look here. Here's my putty cat. For those of you on YouTube, you'll see my beautiful little putty cat here. I have Sphinx, so hairless cats. There we go. And that's my girl. She's very curious. She makes an appearance a lot. Yeah, so we have skinny culture coming back. And I'm actually really concerned about what that is going to do. We've made so much progress about let's get strong over skinny, and skinny culture's coming away, making its way back, and women are still in this mindset where they go, oh, I need muscle, but I'll cut calories. Now, yes, it is true that in a deficit, you can still potentially build muscle. I will say someone with a particularly high body fat who hasn't trained before will absolutely build muscle while in a deficit. And they can probably afford to be in a little bit of a deficit more early on because their body fat percentage is quite high. If you are that skinny fat look, like I'm in the gym and I'm soft and I'm working hard and it's, I don't look like I am in the gym, then that is more about you lack muscle. It's not a body fat issue. And the body fat will come down in time, but you need to build the muscle first. And because you don't have excessive stores of body fat that your body can feed off for energy, it's going to be harder for you to build muscle in a deficit. Can you recomp, which is build muscle and lose body fat at the same time? Absolutely, but you need to be at close to maintenance calories, maybe just a shy under. And I kid you not, someone literally told me today, yep, I want to build muscle and lose body fat. Great. So, and I'm counting and I've got my calories. I went, awesome. What do you want? Oh, 11 to 1200. What the fuck? I've never dieted a woman on 1200 calories, 1100 calories. That's just fucking insane. And if you're in the gym working out, you will feel absolutely wrecked with those sorts of calories and you will not build muscle. You will actually deplete muscle like that. Please stop. Please stop. So what the purpose of today's podcast is more about is that lean. I go to the gym, look, so, we've got some shoulders happening here. We've got some biceps, our glutes are popping. We've got a bit of shape in our legs. That is years of work. That is not a 16-week journey, which someone else said to me today, which was, oh, I'm 4 weeks into my 16-week health journey. No, your health journey is not 16 weeks. That is a fucking diet. That is a program that teaches you nothing. It's not a lifestyle. It's a one-off diet. You'll lose weight And then you'll go, I don't look the way I want to look, and then you'll rebound. 16 weeks is not a health journey at all. A health journey is where you literally turn your life upside down and live in a better way because what you've been doing has not resulted in what you want. All right. So first, muscle takes time, and that lean look, and I look like I go to the gym, has more muscle than what you think. If you cannot deadlift 4 reps, 100-kilo deadlift, say a 50-kilo bench, and say a 70-kilo squat, 4 reps, then you are not strong enough. You do not have enough muscle. And no matter how much you cut your calories, no matter how many carbs you cut, even if you did a really, really good diet, didn't cut excessive calories, took your time about it, you're still going to have no definition because you do not have enough muscle. They are just a gauge. Now, obviously, you know, with exercise variations and all that, all this can change and be slightly different. But if we just talk about the 3 big lifts, that is a bit of a guideline of what you want to be able to do, okay? To have enough muscle to go pop, okay? And then after we have enough muscle, it's getting the body, yes, it's getting the body fat down. And some dieting will be necessary for that, okay? Not always. Some people can recomp all the way because they're really early on in their journey and they didn't have a lot of body fat to begin with. So there are some people that can just do like a really, really short, quick diet phase and then build the muscle up and just keep recomping. And that is amazing for them, but it depends on your starting point. But at some point, I'm sure that there will be some sort of deficit in there. But stripping out everything so you can barely fucking function or think, you're not going to build muscle. And in fact, any muscle that you have built, if you diet like that, will take the muscle away. So you need to stop depleting yourself. A body that looks jacked, looks like it's popped, not only does it have muscle, it is fucking healthy. It is healthy, okay? Because your body will not create muscle tissue unless it's getting all the nutrients that it needs and all your survival functions, you know, breathing, cardiac, all that sort of stuff, you know, respiratory, you know, whatever. All those functions that keep you alive, unless they are actually functioning really well and getting enough nutrition and calories funneled into them, your body will not prioritize muscle. The other thing is if you stress your body too much, cortisol will eat away at muscle. So you need to be healthy to build muscle. Now, you will need to lose some body fat, and that's fine because that lean look that you're looking for is probably around the 14 to 16% body fat low. And I will be honest with you, not everyone can get that far. Photos you see of me on Instagram when I did my big food photo shoot, I was at about 12 or 13% body fat, but it was unsustainable. I did not feel good. I did it essentially for the photo shoot, but I always knew I'll go down, I'll do the photo shoot, and then I'll bring my body fat back up a little bit, and then I'll work on building some more muscle. So I feel good around that 16% body fat, 17% body fat. That's where I feel good. I've still got shape. You can still see my muscle. But you know what? Every time my life has turned upside down and been super stressful, my body craps itself at that body fat percentage. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, the hot flushes come back, I can't think straight, I get sick really easily. So I have to bring my body fat percentage up. And in fact, I was watching a reel today, and this woman, she's got an amazing body. She's 47. She's got an amazing body. She's an influencer. Yes, she's got an app, blah, 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 all the rest of it, but she has not got the qualifications in nutrition or PT. So she is an influencer. And she's got a very low body fat percentage. I can't count the amount of times I see her sitting in a car going, oh, guys, you know, I just didn't feel like it today. Oh my God, I'm so tired, or this has happened, or she's sick again. And then this one today spoke about her mental health. And if she honestly has mental health issues, and I'm not saying that the mental health is made up, I'm just saying if they are mental health issues that are siloed on their own, not caused by her health, because our health is directly linked to our mental health, then that's one thing, okay? But she is on Instagram telling everyone that it's normal, it's okay, I feel like this, and I feel like this most the time. If that is the way you feel, you either have a medical depression issue, mental health issue, which is one thing, Or have you possibly thought that that body fat that you're sitting at just does not help you? She's always tired. She's always talking about how exhausted she is. She's regularly sick. I see it all over Instagram. I follow her. And she has an amazing physique, but she is jacked. She's got amazing muscle, but her body fat is so low. And these are just all signs and symptoms that her body doesn't at the moment doesn't like being that low. I am still struggling to get down to out of all the health issues I've been through. So I got adrenal fatigue through emotional stress that had happened. There's a whole podcast on it. You can go and listen to it. Message me. I'll send you the link if you need it. Dean and I went through a lot with child custody battles, losing his kids, unfortunately. They were poisoned against him. He then got cancer twice. We lived through that cancer in silence because we were trying to hide it from the ex-wife because she would use anything and twist anything against him. So we couldn't tell anyone because we didn't want the kids knowing and letting it out to her. So we suffered that in silence. The first doctor dodged him, and that's why the cancer came back. And he's had lots of complications from those surgeries since. Anyway, you can imagine why I had adrenal fatigue. It wasn't because of my health, it was because of the emotional stress that I went under. But once I entered that adrenal fatigue, my body could not cope at that low percentage anymore. I was no longer optimal in health because of excessive stress and excessive cortisol. So I had to bring my part of my healing process was literally bringing my body fat percentage back up well above that 20% line. And it felt really uncomfortable for a while. And then obviously I've had my back surgery and then I've hurt my shoulder, which is my fault. We won't talk about that. So the last 18 months has been, a real roller coaster ride. I just come out of the adrenal fatigue and then I had this back injury and I literally didn't walk for well over a month. Like literally no walking, crawling. I had to have help to go to the toilet. Like it was horrendous and the doctors were misdiagnosing me. Can you see a pattern with where I live and doctors? Anyway, you can see that that would be also very stressful on my body as well. So the adrenal fatigue kind of started creeping in because the excessive pain I was in was causing cortisol issues again for me. So again, and with no movement, like literally no walking, let alone training, my body composition changed as well. But, I can't sustain a lean jack look. So I'm back to going back to that now. But I can only do that now because I am healthy and resilient now. You cannot do it when you are not optimal. And if you are full of perimenopause symptoms, not sleeping well, have energy crashes, you are eating under 2,000 calories as maintenance, I would flag that unless you're a shorter person. But if you're training hard, you should be able to eat 1,900 calories easily. I know that may sound wild to you, but you should easily be able to eat that. If this isn't the foundation that you have, you're only putting more stress on your body going into a deficit. And then your body just doesn't like being that lean. Body fat is a safety mechanism, right? It's a survival mechanism. It's built into our biology. And often when you are that lean, you just constantly crave and feel hungry and you're fighting that all the time. That's telling you that's not a body fat percentage that your body likes to sit at. And it's only when you're super optimal that you can go in to that super lean stage and stay there. And when I say super lean, I'm not even talking bodybuilding stage lean. You don't want to be there. But sitting around, that anything under 20%, your body really needs to be super optimal to maintain it. You also need to be quite methodical and structured and continue that. Often when you're that low, you tend to track most of the time. Some women do, some women don't, depends how well that you can manage yourself. But these are the things that you need to talk about. You need to be a little more strict with your body to maintain that as well. And you will also be on lower maintenance calories because there is less of you. Now, I only like to go to a place where I can still sustain at 2,300 calories. If I have to go lower than 2,300, I'm not interested. Just not interested in being that lean. That is my choice though. When you build that foundation of muscle and health, you get to choose what you want. But I put forward to you, do you actually understand what a lean jacked body is? So think back to those strength markers. Are you deadlifting 100 kilos? Are you benching 50 kilos? Are you squatting 70 kilos? If you are saying no, then you will not have a jacked body. End of story. Okay? So that's your first one. Do you actually understand how strong you have to be to have that I go to the gym look? That's what you need. Secondly, your body fat needs to be well under the 20% range. Okay, unless you have been lifting for years and you're even stronger than what I just said. And I'll use an amazing example. Some mentors that have been wonderful in my career, Kitty Blomfield and Craig McDonald. But Kitty Blomfield sits at around 20% body fat and she looks jacked. But she has been lifting, serious lifting, not even prior to that, seriously lifting for over 10 years, 10 to 12 years. And she can move 150 kilo deadlift for reps. That's how much stronger she is. So therefore she has more muscle. So therefore more can be seen underneath the body fat. So are you understanding that to look jacked, you have to be fucking strong, 100 kilo deadlift minimum. This is what we're talking about. And you have to have a lower body fat percentage unless you are well and truly over that 100 kilo deadlift, which if you are, you would actually understand all of this anyway. So I'm talking to those who don't have those strength markers yet. You don't look jack. It's not just because you're overweight. It's not just because of body fat. You're not fucking strong enough and you're not optimal. That is the third piece. So you have strength. How much muscle do you have? You have body fat. It needs to be a lot fucking lower than what you realize. And third, you need to be optimal. So if you have all these complaints through energy, sleep, digestion, constipation, perimenopause symptoms, menopause symptoms, if you're suffering from any of those, you are not optimal and you are not going to be able to get to those body fat percentages. All right. So this is what it takes. Sorry, my cat. Here I am on a great rant and my cat's here's her tail. She's crawling all over my desk and I thought I almost lost you. Sorry, got me off track. But anyway, so they're the three elements that you need to be jacked, okay? And it is a lifestyle is the fourth. It is not a diet that you do for a period and then go back to your old habits. It has to be a lifestyle. You have to always eat nutritious food. You have to keep yourself balanced. Now, when I say always, does that mean you can't go away on holidays and enjoy yourself? No. Does that mean that you can't go out for dinner and celebrate someone's birthday? No. Does that mean that you can't have a drink once in a while? No, it doesn't mean any of that. Okay, what I'm talking about when I talk about lifestyle and keeping that is that 95% of the time you're living, eating nutritious food, you're at the gym maintaining or gaining muscle, a program that supports that. You're thinking about recovery. So the way you train and the way you fuel will help you recover. There's all these elements and it's, living in low stress. How can you change the stress in your life? Now, when I referred to the stresses that were the demise of my original body that I had created, and I'm on the way back to getting that again, is, it was stress in my life. Now, I ate perfectly, I trained perfectly, I lived the lifestyle, but if your life is full of chronic stress, then it's still not going to work for you either. Now, I couldn't make Dean's cancer go away. I couldn't make his ex-wife stop. I couldn't make the children stay. I couldn't avoid the court processes we went through. I couldn't change any of that. I've done a lot of self-development work since then, and I know that I could have responded to those stresses better. However, those stresses wouldn't have gone away. And I still think the same would have happened because we were underneath an enormous amount of pressure, an enormous amount. And in amongst all of that, I left my job because the doctor that dodged him actually was a doctor I worked for at the hospital and I couldn't be in that system anymore. So I left and started my own business just to add a little more on top. But if you are living in an unhappy relationship, in a job that you hate, you're never getting sunlight, you're always looking at the negative, you're not thinking about what can be positive, you don't have activities you enjoy, all these sorts of things that you actually have control over, you're living in nutrient deficiency, nutritional dysregulation, whether it be meal balance, food timing, fueling in the gym, you're doing excessive amounts that your body can't recover from. They are all stresses on your body that you have control over. Yes, you have control over your relationship stress. You either get in and he agrees, she, he, whoever agrees, your partner agrees, okay, we're going to work on this. So you both agree you're going to work on making a better relationship. If not, don't stay. If it causes you that much stress, stop fucking complaining about it and go if they don't want to fix it with you, okay? You don't like your job and it's full of stress, get another fucking job. Don't tell me that there's no jobs out there for you. I've been in a position where I used to have to hire, and the quality out there is terrible. Trying to find someone of quality is actually really hard in this day and age. There are jobs out there. You can choose to change your job. You have control over that. You have control over your nutrition. You have control over how you train and recover. Get the education. Get the education behind you on nutrition, the education around sunlight and stress and sleep, so you know what to do. Invest in yourself. I can guarantee, as a career-driven woman, the amount of investment you've done in your education has been phenomenal. And I'm sure you're wonderful. And I'm sure that when you decided to have a baby, you did all the research and got all the education under the sun to make sure that you raised that baby right. If you've gone and gotten a pet and you've never had a pet before, that you've done the research and gotten the education on what to feed them, when to bath them, how to walk them, all these things. And yet you refuse to invest in you to get to where you want to go and live ultimately a confident, sexy, amazing life. Because getting that body that you want, whatever you define it to be. Some people say, for me, jacked is 15% body fat. Some people say to them, jacked is just being able to lift strong and have a healthy body fat percentage of 20-25%. They don't need to look poppin'. They just want to feel strong, look firm, and have their clothes fit nicely. So you get to decide what that looks like, but why aren't you investing in that? Why aren't you? And do you actually realize what it takes to have a super lean, jacked body? So I want you to think about that. How much do you actually want it? You don't have to go that far though. Once you build that foundation, it's just how much body fat do you have on top. When you're healthy and optimum, when you're strong, and when your lifestyle habits are there, you get to choose the look. Is it a softer, shapely look, or is it a chiseled jack look? And that's just all about body fat percentage. However, there are payoffs for each of those. Okay, so that's something for you to think about. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to get there and you've been in the gym for 6-12 months, nothing's changing, you're still soft and you're still saying, I want to build muscle, lose body fat, get the education. April is my 50th birthday and I am launching a mentorship. I do have private one-to-one clients at the moment. That is becoming a premium service where you get high-level access to me. But for those who need the foundations to actually know what moves the needle, my mentorship is going to be perfect for you. It is still direct coaching with me. It's just at a different level and there's lots of education and resources. So when you walk away from that mentorship, well, exactly what a mentorship suggests. It educates you and you get to take that away from life and continue to apply it over the years to continue building that amazing body that you're actually looking for, which results in confidence, feeling sexy, walking to your wardrobe, picking something out, sliding in and going, yeah, love it. Do you know, when I went to my son's graduation, I said to my daughter, right, got to go and find a dress. It's his army graduation. Let's go. We don't live in a big town. We walked into the main shopping centre. There's really not much there. I walked into a shop and I went, oh my God, I love that. Went to the change room, slid it on, went, yes, great, perfect, done. How amazing would that feel? With the foundations, that's what you get to do. You get to feel so confident that the first thing you put on that you like on a hanger generally looks pretty fucking good. How cool would that be, not having to agonize over what you look like every day? Anyway, I'm going to leave that there with you. Join me again next week for another podcast. But if you've got any questions over this, message me at Instagram, strengthtraining.nutritionist, and I will be there to answer all your questions.